I'm going to do an insight video today. Over the last couple of days, I've talked about the eternal self, this aspect of self that's always connected, that's always harmonized, can always be sort of accessed. It's expansive, it brings creation, and it connects to vibration and frequency. And this is really important to start to understand this, because this aspect of self is the infinite self, the higher self. It's connected to the higher self, the infinite self. The eternal self has always been and will always be. It's the essence. It's the core of what we are. It's the energy, and the essence, the energy, the sort of source energy that each and every one of us are born with. And I've been thinking about things over the last couple of days around sort of a lot around sort of releasing energy, and how we use vibration, how we use frequency, how this helps us to manifest and create, but also helps us remain in that sort of eternal moment. I was also thinking about the I am presence today, and that's something that people talk about a lot. This aspect of self, the higher self, that's still connected to the infinite source energy, the universal energy, and that it acts as this kind of channel that allows us to still integrate sort of vibrations and frequencies from creation, from the source energy, from the infinite realms of energy and light, the infinite dimensions, the infinite frequencies that are still existing and vibrating as one. Which is really important. Again, the existing, vibrating as one, because oneness is is one of the keys to all things spiritual. That all things are connected, all things are aligned, nothing's separate. There's a big sort of unfolding evolution of cycles of growth, where I've talked about this universal law of rhythm, and it's very much around that at the moment. But I woke today and I was sitting there and thinking about these kind of thoughts in my head, and they were sort of like, then they were starting to integrate within my energy and my energy frequency. I was also thinking about consciousness yesterday, how consciousness and creation are interlinked and interrelated. Like, consciousness is being conscious of your energy, your vibration, your frequency, and using it in a way that creates. But also, by using consciousness to create, you're also creating a new vibration of frequency, a new energy sort of vibration and frequency within your own individual um, pathway, your own individual experience. But you're also connecting into a collective consciousness. And consciousness is, again, very much connected to our ability to align and bring forth like insights, understanding, and wisdom. And consciousness is really important. Being conscious is using your energy, using your vibration in a way that allows you to spiritually evolve, but also allows you to expand and grow, and manifest and create in a more spiritual way. So consciousness is really important in that way. But as I woke up this morning, I was thinking about like the I am presence as well, and that's something that people talk about. This sense of the I am presence is this infinite um, energy that's around you. It's like connects as your higher self, your infinite self, and it opens up as this portal again. I've talked about like ascension in the past, and I've talked about Serapis Bay as like helps to mediate these portals and helps us open up. I've seen like pyramids in the past, very much around sort of pyramids and how they sort of work as sort of portals within different dimensional frequencies and realms. And in this sense, um, the higher self, or the I am self, is part of this. It opens us up to a channel. And today I had, as I was sitting there thinking about it, I had sort of a white robed being step behind me, and that white robed being with long white hair, long beard. Now she's got blonde hair and a long blonde beard and white robe, as I've just been corrected there as I was sitting there looking at it. And this sort of being is a sort of like acts as an example, or is showing me that this is like my infinite self, my higher self, and this is how it connects. And when I've had this before, I feel in harmony, I feel balanced, I feel sort of secure within the vibration and the frequencies, but I also feel open to the different frequencies. And what I've also seen in my mind's eye today is many different um, rays or colours of light as this being sort of as this. I'm saying being, but this is an aspect of my being. This is an aspect of my eternal self that's stepping forward, and as I connect into it, I see these many different rays. And again, this is one. It's sort of like it allows me to sort of understand sort of illumination in that way, where illumination is um, these many different rays. Like the masters of illumination bring these many different rays, and these many different rays bring aspects, wisdom, and knowledge, and understanding of each aspect of this source energy, which is the creation, which is also sort of like all things that we're born of, and it connects to all many different realms. And the masters and the teachers and the angels and the universal teachers, although they're sort of connected within our sort of reality of one vibration or one ray, they are connected infinitely to all the rays, and they're connected to the infinite like realities and dimensions, and all these different sort of beings are working together to open us up to bring this. And it's very much symbolic again when you see like rainbows and the infinite colours of rainbows, and how that sort of like vibrates and illuminates together. That the rainbow is very significant again of like oneness. And also when you look at things like crystals, and you look at sort of like clear quartz crystals, and you hit a light against it and it breaks and it goes into the many different colours, that's again a direct sort of insight or teaching of how these many sort of like frequencies work in one vibration, in one harmony, and we're all sort of being connected to this. And this is why I was sort of like talking about the I am presence, because it's the again aspect. The eternal self is an infinite self that's always connected. It lives, and it's still connected to source energy, and it's the eternal moment. And the eternal moment is again this oneness of vibration, and this is why they're really important. These universal laws, when you talk about oneness and you talk about vibration and frequency, they're all interlinked, and these two are particularly sort of like important, because oneness is the awakening, it's the understanding, it's having the awareness that we're these spiritual beings of light and energy, and we're connected to all things at once, nothing separate. So it tells us that there's no distance, there's no time, there's no separation, so that we know then that the spiritual guides and the beings that are working with us are around us, and they work with us, and they're always connected. It's sort of like the universal law of oneness is a key that unlocks, and it unlocks a door of consciousness, and it unlocks a door of understanding and awareness, and it unlocks a door of energy frequencies that allow us to become channels, to then start to connect more and more with these teachers and these guides, and also it allows us to walk on our path and walk in our frequency. It opens up, like I said, these frequencies to our infinite selves, our higher selves, and then we can start to walk with them. It's also, I've talked before very much around about integrating, becoming this open channel to your infinite self or your higher self. And what happens then is, as that flow opens up and that channel opens up, as I see it in my eyes, in my head now, as I see like a big white column of energy, and I also see like the infinite self or the higher self. And what I see is the two aspects of self integrating, like the consciousness of your higher self and your human self integrating, and then obviously you become this open channel then to receive source energy and light as we start to move through this pathway. And all of these kind of things are going on at the moment for many of us as we start to open up. And this is why they were giving me this insight about the eternal self, because the eternal moment is so important, because the more we can stay in that vibration and frequency, or the eternal moment, the more we can use our consciousness, we can use vibration and frequency in creation, but we can also use it to shift and change, and release energy that doesn't serve us anymore, release energy that doesn't align with us, thoughts, feelings, all these kind of things. All thoughts, feelings are vibrations. People talk about love. Love is a vibration, love is a frequency. Joy is a frequency. Joy is a vibration. Everything is a vibration and frequency. Everything is vibration and frequency in the universe. Consciousness is a living vibration. Your consciousness, your thoughts are a vibration. They're a frequency. And when we learn to tap in and use vibration and frequency in everything we do, and actually divine and create our lives through it, we start to realize that we then are on the cusp of something. We're starting to then vibrate in a way, but it also allows us then to be on a vibration and a frequency that we open up, and the universal source connects directly with us, but also we can integrate and start to connect and align with our infinite selves and our higher selves and our eternal selves. They're all connected. You know, the eternal self is I'm talking about, it's like being in the eternal moment. It's connected to the universal law of oneness. The eternal self is connected to the higher self, and they're all aspects of self. And self is an infinite self. It's not, it has no separation, it has no limits, it's unlimited. And this is what I feel that I'm being shown, and this is why we were talking about like the I am presence and the higher self and the infinite self. This is why it's important, because we start to realize that we can be open channels and we can integrate this soul wisdom, this soul knowledge on our pathway in this time. And this is why illumination was really important, is really important as well. And the masters talk about illumination because it's the understanding that there's wisdom. There's wisdom on these many rays, these many colours, and each of them bring a vibration and frequency, but they're all part of the same whole. Nothing's separate. Nothing is separate. That's the key thing to shifting and changing your reality, is knowing nothing's separate and knowing that you're always aligned, you're always connected. And we all have an open channel that can be accessed at any time to receive insight, wisdom, understanding and awareness. And this is what I feel these kind of these readings, or not even readings, but these insights. The name of the channel is Spiritual Insight and Awareness, and it's that for a reason. It's insight and awareness into growth, development. And again, this is where this universal cycle of rhythm comes in. The universal cycle of rhythm, it's about growth and evolution consciously as spiritual beings, but it connects directly to vibration and frequency, and it connects directly to the law of oneness, because it is connected. Again, universal law of correspondence is about this. When you start to become this open channel, then you start to integrate your higher self, your infinite self. So the universal correspondence is telling you the source energy is in you, and when you become this open channel, then you can start to access and once again connect and integrate your infinite self, your higher self, the I am presence. Law of attraction again. The more the more that you are open and use vibration and frequency within your daily experience, your daily reality, the more you attract more spiritual abundance, more spiritual awareness, more spiritual insight, more spiritual wisdom. And again, it just goes on and on. The universal law of transmutation and transformation is very much around releasing, but releasing has been in the eternal moment again. It's been with the eternal self, and this is what the kind of insights that are being given at the moment. There's so much going on. Like compensation again connects. It connects through your vibration, your frequency, because what you create, the universe then sort of create, and that's what you receive. Again, it's receiving, like action. Inspired action's another one, where you're on when you're creating things on high vibrations and high frequencies. Then what you're doing is you're creating and manifesting inspired action, which is spiritual action, spiritual wisdom, spiritual consciousness, and all of these things are interconnecting. As you start to see, you see that nothing's separate and everything's connected, and there is only one vibration, one frequency, and we're all living in that frequency. We're living in that vibration on some frequency within that. The universal beings are the infinite beings, the universal teachers, the ascended masters are all living on a frequency. Well, actually, sorry, I'm being corrected again. They're living on many frequencies in that vibration of the universal law of oneness of creation. They're living on many vibrations and many frequencies, as well the universal teachers, as are the archangels. They are living on many different frequencies. They don't live on one frequency. And many of us are living on different frequencies within that oneness vibration, because what we're doing is our consciousness, and what we're creating then creates a frequency, and then we align with that depending on what our consciousness is, what the vibrations and what we are creating. And this is why these are really, really important sort of times to start to become awake and become aware. And the more we can do this, the more we can start to align. And again, when you talk about Atlantis and the Lemuria years ago, they used crystal chambers to get on higher frequencies, so then their spiritual bodies could then align, and manage to sort of like, when their bodies were aligned, they were able to then sort of their consciousness then to align with sort of archangels, ascended masters, universal beings. So the, there's a lot going on for a lot of us in the moment, and we are shifting and changing in our frequency, our vibration and frequency, and what that will mean will be a shift for our spiritual awareness, but also a shift for our humanity. And this is what's coming through at the moment. This is what's coming through for a lot of us. So that's the insight video for today.